Well, news from Benin West Africa is that the coup attempt is continuing. The military has requested people to go to the streets to put pressure on the government to accept that there is indeed a coup. Benin's government on Sunday said it had thwarted an attempted coup after a group of soldiers announced on state television that they had actually ousted President Patrice Talon. Military and security sources said that around a dozen soldiers were arrested, including those behind the foiled coup. West Africa has experienced a number of coups in recent years, including in Benin's northern neighbours, Niger and Burkina Faso, as well as in Mali, Guinea, and most recently, Guinea-Bissau. SABC News specialist correspondent Sophie Mokoena joins us now with the latest. Sophie, a very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us and a warm welcome to the late edition. The announcement on state television claiming the ouster of President Patrice Talon, only to be followed by government claims that the coup was foiled, raises immediate red flags. So what should we believe at this point in time, and why should the public believe either side right now?
It's very difficult to make sense of where this will end, because when you look at earlier on, when those 8 members of the military made that announcement using the public broadcaster, there was a feeling that it is a coup. But later, the Foreign Affairs Minister came on and also made an announcement that they've been able to stop that coup and that they have arrested individuals. Later today, we saw some people taken to the streets in support of the military that has announced the coup. On the other hand, we saw attacks at the barracks where you have the soldiers. Now, there are reports that the intention is to threaten and intimidate the military not to join these other military officials who announced a coup earlier on. And later tonight, there were visuals circulating of the president who's under siege, walking in the streets, but it's not clear where. And there are also reports that some of the announcements are made in Nigeria. Earlier on, we saw Nigeria and France committing to defend the sitting president. And there were reports of military aircraft, some with French emblems and others with Nigerian logos. And therefore, there was a report that these are French military aircraft and also Nigerian aircraft hovering over Cotonou, which is the capital city. Few minutes ago, we just received a statement from ECOWAS, the regional body, announcing that the summit of the ECOWAS, which is at the heads of state and government level, has taken a decision to deploy some of the peacekeeping or military power of the ECOWAS, as it has got a standby force to deal with challenges of security in East Africa. And we don't know when will they arrive, or it will be tonight. It will be clearer tomorrow morning, because at night it's very difficult to make sense of who is having an upper hand, whether those groups that are supporting the coup, or it is the government, as it has announced that it is firmly in control.
Now, Sophie, it's quite interesting that you've just made mention of the involvement of ECOWAS, posting their standby force, and it begs the question whether the international community, the regional bodies, African Union and ECOWAS, whether they will respond to this attempted coup the same way they responded in previous ones, or has their tolerance waned?
I think their tolerance has waned. You'd recall during that Niger, where the ECOWAS, again, under leadership of Nigeria, wanted to deploy troops. And there was a warning that that will lead to loss of life. And that will be put squarely in the hands of Nigeria that was pushing for that invasion. Now, this time around, it is not Nigeria, the leader of ECOWAS, it's Sierra Leone. And therefore, we don't know whether the president of Sierra Leone has done his homework in terms of ensuring that that deployment doesn't translate into loss of life of ordinary people in Benin. It will hit the target. But remember, they are doing this with the hope of the support of the French. Now, the problem with that, you would recall it was France that led the charge in Libya. And today, Libya is a safe state. Now, the question is, are we seeing similar tendencies by foreign forces, as we saw in Libya, as we saw in Iraq, and both countries are still struggling to recover after those foreign military invasions. Now, the issue here will be the same, and this comes at a time where the world has changed. When you look at that West Africa, most of the countries experience coups, and therefore it's a different scenario in terms of getting 100% support for military intervention.
Okay. All right, Sophie, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your update. Sophie Mokoena there, SABC News specialist reporter, just unpacking the developing coup attempt in Benin, where the military is calling on citizens to take to the streets, even as the government insists that the situation is actually under control and that key figures have been arrested. Well, it's another reminder, really, of the fragile political terrain in West Africa, a region still grappling with a wave of military takeovers in recent years from Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea-Bissau, and now Guinea.